The poor truck driver who changed his future. In a small town in Texas, there lived a man named Jack. Jack wasn't a successful businessman. He wasn't a famous investor. He was simply a truck driver. Every morning before sunrise, he climbed into his old truck and headed to work. Every night, he came home exhausted after long hours on the road. Jack earned about $45,000 a year. At first glance, that wasn't a bad income, but there was one problem. He never had any money left. Every month, his paycheck disappeared. Rent, car payments, credit card bills, restaurant meals, online shopping. Money came in and money went out. Then one day, something happened that changed everything. Late at night, while driving on a highway, Jack's truck suddenly broke down. The repair bill was $2,500. Jack checked his bank account. He had only $217. With no other option, he put the expense on his credit card. But the problems didn't stop there. A few weeks later, his daughter got sick. Medical bills arrived. His credit card debt kept growing. For the first time in his life, Jack felt truly scared. He realized he was just one emergency away from a financial disaster. That night, he couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling and kept asking himself, "I work so hard. Why am I always struggling with money?" The next day, he talked to his neighbor, Michael. Michael earned about the same income as Jack, yet he always seemed calm. He never appeared stressed about money. Jack finally asked him, "What's your secret?" Michael smiled. "I'm not rich," he said, "but I have one habit that changed my life." "What habit?" "I pay myself first." Jack looked confused. Michael explained, "The moment my paycheck arrives, I automatically move 15% into a savings account." "What about the rest of your expenses?" "I live on what's left." Jack laughed. "I never have anything left to save." Michael smiled and replied, "That's exactly the problem. You're trying to save what's left after spending. I save first, then spend what's left." Those words stayed in Jack's mind. He decided to give it a try. The first month, he saved just $100. It felt insignificant, but he kept going. The second month, another $100. The third month, $150. Slowly, his savings began to grow. 1 year later, he had nearly $2,000 saved. For the first time in his life, his bank account actually had money in it. He felt proud. But the real change wasn't in his savings. The real change was in his mindset. Before every purchase, he started asking himself one simple question: "Do I really need this?" That one question changed his life. 2 years later, his savings had grown to $5,000. Then one day, his car broke down. The repair bill was $1,200. The old Jack would have panicked. But this time, he calmly paid the bill from his savings. No debt, no stress, no fear. That was the day he finally understood the true purpose of saving. Saving doesn't make you rich. Saving makes you secure. As time passed, Jack began reading personal finance books. He learned about investing. Every month, he started investing a little money. His savings continued to grow. His investments continued to grow. 5 years later, he had $15,000 in savings and a solid investment portfolio. But the biggest change wasn't the money. The biggest change was that he was no longer a slave to money. He no longer made decisions out of fear. He made decisions based on opportunity. One day, his boss asked him to work extra hours. In the past, he would have said yes because he had no choice. This time, he politely declined. Because now he knew his future didn't depend entirely on the next paycheck. He had options, and options are true wealth. 10 years later, Jack's life had completely changed. His income hadn't increased dramatically, but his net worth had grown. His savings had grown. His investments had grown. And most importantly, his confidence had grown. One day, his daughter asked him, "Dad, how did you learn to become wealthy?" Jack smiled. "I didn't start becoming wealthy when I made a lot of money." "Then when did it happen?" "I started becoming wealthy the day I saved my first $100. His daughter looked surprised. Jack continued, "Wealth isn't built in a bank account. Wealth is built in the mind. The moment you start valuing your future more than your present comfort, your life begins to change." That day, his daughter started her own savings account, and Jack realized he had left behind his greatest legacy. Not money, a mindset. Because money can be lost, markets can fall, jobs can disappear. But strong financial habits stay with you forever. And those habits can give ordinary people an extraordinary future. Moral of the story: becoming wealthy doesn't start with a high income. It starts with the right habits. Every large bank account once began with a small savings deposit, and your journey toward financial freedom might begin with one small